Hi Aries, welcome to November. This is Teresa from tarotbyt.com. And before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy. And I want to say thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for ordering readings. I appreciate your support. I read all the comments. And I hope you enjoyed October. It's Halloween. I'm recording this on Halloween, actually, so we'll see. So tomorrow's November. Anyway, let's see what's coming up for Aries for the month of November. We have a new moon in Scorpio, and that's on November 7th. And then we have a full moon in Gemini on November 23rd. So I'll get to that later, but let's see what does Aries need to know? By the way, I'm using a new deck this time. I'm experimenting with this Steampunk Tarot deck, which I love. I love the illustrations. They're just so intense and so beautifully painted. So let's see what's coming up for Aries for November. What does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of November? What does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of November? What does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of November? The new moon in Scorpio is falling in your 8th house. So, let's see. Okay. The Two of Swords. The Eight of Cups. The Devil. The Ten of Wands. The Temperance card, the High Priestess, the Nine of Swords, the World, the Queen of Wands, and the Fool. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Aries. So you start out the month of November with the Two of Swords and the Eight of Cups. You're trying to make a decision with the Two of Swords, but you're on the fence about it. You're not sure which direction to go in. You could have had a falling out with someone, or you've been kind of disconnected from someone, and you're thinking of moving on because you have the Eight of Cups here. The Eight of Cups is feeling that you were involved in something that was once good, and now it's no longer fulfilling you. So you're thinking of moving on. Moving towards something that's more fulfilling. The Eight of Cups is about leaving something behind because you're in search of something more meaningful in your life. But with the Two of Swords here, you're not acting. You're not taking action. You're just thinking about it. You're trying to decide to make it. There's like a tension in your thoughts with the swords are about thoughts and decisions, and the twos are about this duality. Like, I want this, do I want this or do I want that? If you've had a falling out with someone, it could be that you're waiting for them to make the first move. Like, you don't want to initiate anything. You're waiting for them to contact you. You're not contacting them. But at some point, someone's going to have to break the ice, because the Two of Swords, you can't stay balanced between these two options forever. At some point, you're going to have to choose one of them. And that could mean choosing to contact someone that you've been separated from, or choosing between even two different options. So it doesn't always have to be choosing between two people. It could be, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay in my current situation? Do I search for something better? Or do I choose this option versus that option? So it could be either or. And that could be in relationship, but it could also be in career. You know, maybe you're not happy in your current job or your current career situation and you feel like you're ready for change. That could be if your relationship is doing well, then it could be a career situation where you're kind of not undecided. There's a moon here in this card. So maybe by the full moon, you'll have to make your decision. And I think it's deciding, really, because if you look at this card, there's a sun. This could be a sunset or a sunrise. So something may be ending and something new might be beginning. And if you look at this illustration there, these are just beautiful illustrations. She's getting energy from the earth. Inspiration from the earth. She's being charged by the earth's energies. So maybe what you need to do is get grounded. Your ideas need to be more grounded before you launch them. So you have the Devil card here in the past. The Devil card could come up sometimes when you're struggling with an addiction or some type of addiction. It could be drugs, alcohol. It could even be a person or a situation that you're feeling something is controlling you, something is holding you, and you don't feel free, or you feel like you need to break free of this force. It could be within you, but you may perceive it as an outside force. It is because you're not connected to it, because it could be an unconscious behavior that you're not aware of, that rises up, and it could be that you're being driven by your unconscious. And so you need to bring the unconscious to the surface so that you could deal with it, see it in its true light, and then deal with it and release it. You have to free yourself from what, this is like unconscious behavior. Free yourself from something that is controlling you from behind the scenes, from your unconscious state, from your subconscious. So it could be childhood wounds, anything that fears that have been holding you back. It could be an addiction problem that's been getting in the way of your success, or with relationships. So you have to confront your demons in November. And you may have already started doing that. But that's what's going to free you to move forward. You have the Ten of Wands here. So you've been struggling with this for a long time. But you are coming to the end of the battle. Because with the Ten of Wands, that's the end of the road for troubles, for carrying this heavy burden. So you're about ready to be putting the burden down, coming to the end of the line. You can't carry this burden any longer. You have to, so it's almost like, I can't sweep this under the rug. I can't deny that there's a problem. I have to deal with it. So you're going to be making decisions and dealing with something in November. And it could involve walking away from something. Maybe it's an unhealthy habit or an unhealthy lifestyle. It may not even be a person. It might just be, I need to drop this addiction, or I need to drop this obsession, or I need to work on my fears. I have to work on myself, so that I can move on to something more meaningful. Maybe you've been trying to struggle. You're like sweeping something on the rug, pretending it's not there, and trying to deal with your life, and it keeps getting in the way. So now the Temperance card is coming up here in the future. The Temperance is also a card of balance. It's learning not to go to extremes in behavior. So it's like, it's okay to have, a drink at dinner, but you don't want to have a whole, 2 bottles of wine or a whole case of beer, So if you could find the balance, and this is also then, anything that is healthy, when it's taken to the extreme, becomes unhealthy. And that's food, that's drinking, that's even relationships, emotions. The Temperance is about finding the middle ground, not going to extremes in either your thinking, or your behavior, your actions. Don't go, you're swinging all over the place. You might be, one day you're up, next day you're down. Or you might be more, it's saying don't be reactive. Try to see things from both sides. In a relationship, if for those of you who are like separated from someone, or you've had a breakup, maybe this card could be about trying to see things from the other person's perspective, trying to meet somebody halfway. Like, it can't always be your way. Sometimes you have to compromise. For those people looking for love, you could meet someone that you get along really well with, because the Temperance can mean a good partnership. Could be coming. Someone that's really, that helps you to balance your life, that helps you to find more calmness in your life, more peace. And it could be someone who's very spiritual, because they have the High Priestess here. The High Priestess is a card, there's so many meanings. It could be that you're interested in someone who's very, that you think very highly of, that you find they're very spiritual. You have a lot of respect for this person. It could also mean, and this person could be very intuitive, or this person could also be kind of secretive. Like, you find them to be like an enigma. You can't figure them out, and that's what attracts you. They're this mystery. But the High Priestess also means that you have to start learning to trust your intuition. That you have to listen to that little voice inside of you that's trying to direct you, to get you on the right path. Sometimes we ignore that voice. We just really want something and we don't pay attention to that voice that says, oh, don't go this way, go that way. You never have that in the morning? You go into work and something tells you take this other road, but you don't listen to that. You take the road that you always take, and then there's a big accident or there's a big traffic jam. And then you go, well, I wish I had taken that other road. My unconscious was telling me to take the other road, but I ignored it. So this is like this card is about messages from your unconscious. And I feel like that's going to be important in November. It's important for you to get at subconscious behavior patterns, subconscious blocks, or anything that's dealing with things that like your blind spots. And also learning to trust your intuition, tuning in instead of, because Aries is a very active sign, and you're always, you've always got a goal that you're working toward. And, it's like charging into the future. Maybe in November you need to start taking some time out to meditate or to think, make the adventure be within instead of on the outside world. Maybe it's time for you to turn inward and listen to that inner voice and confront those things that you've been avoiding or that you've been sweeping under the rug. Because look, you have the Nine of Swords here. The Nine of Swords is a card of worry. When you're sitting up at night and your mind is racing and you're feeling guilty and you're worrying about all these possible things, it's a tormented mind with the Nine of Swords. So there's something that's been on your mind that you're really stressed about. And I think it has to do with this Devil card and the High Priestess. There are things that are interfering in your life and you don't know why, or you don't know what they are. And it could be that they're blocking you from having a relationship, or they're getting in the way of current relationships. And until you delve deep into the subconscious or the unconscious, and you find those blind spots and you bring them to the surface and you are made aware of them, you're willing to face them, they're going to be controlling you from behind the scenes. And you can, I feel like that you can overcome this. It's not impossible. You just have to be willing to look and to see. And then it's almost like confronting your demons, your internal demons, and releasing them and walking away from them. Because in your environment, look what you have. You have the World card. So you're coming to the end of a cycle. To me, I think it's the end of a cycle of worry and carrying a heavy burden. And you're ready to let go and leave the past behind and leave all your burdens behind and move into a new cycle. When the World card comes up, you have a sense of freedom, a sense of accomplishment. Like, okay, I've learned my lesson, I've come full circle, now I'm ready to go to the next level. So if you've been working on something, on yourself, you could be there could be a new cycle coming in, especially because you have this Fool card as an outcome. The Fool card is a brand new beginning. So here you have the end. This is the last card of the major arcana. So that's the end of a cycle. And then you have the Fool card, which is the brand new beginning, turning over a new leaf, starting over, starting a new life. And here's this Queen of Wands in your wish fulfillment sector. So I feel for some of you, you could be in a relationship with this person. Could be a fire sign like yourself. But there is someone who could be in your life that's more of a take charge type of person, a good leader. Not afraid to speak their mind. They go after what they want. Someone who's very much like you. So you could be meeting a soulmate or someone who is a kindred spirit in November. Especially with, we've had Venus go in retrograde, and that's going to go direct November 16th. November is going to be a great month for fire signs because Jupiter is coming into Sagittarius at the beginning of the month. Mercury is going to go retrograde again, but sometimes when Mercury, so the minute that Venus goes forward, Mercury starts going retrograde until December. But that can bring up, it's really a time of evaluating and getting your ducks in a row. These past 2 months have been about really thinking about what you need to change, and getting everything ready for when all the planets go direct. But just having Jupiter in Sagittarius, you're coming into we're all coming into a new cycle with Jupiter. And Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. It loves being in Sagittarius. So that's the planet of exploration and optimism and truth and, your belief system. It's time to believe in yourself, to have faith. That's what Jupiter's about, faith. Faith that I can achieve. So you might be feeling more optimistic in November, especially when Jupiter goes into Sagittarius. And here's your new beginning. You could have a new beginning. This Queen could represent a relationship that helps you achieve a dream or a goal. It could be someone from the past because Mercury is going retrograde in the middle of November. But it could also mean, for some of you, the Queen of Wands could mean that you have to tap in. This is a card of the leader. And all fire signs are great leaders because they're not afraid to initiate things. They're not afraid to speak up, to step up, to act. They're about action. So this could be saying you have to take action. You have to be a leader in your life. You have to stop this procrastination. Maybe you've been procrastinating, and that's rare for an Aries. Usually Aries doesn't procrastinate. But for some reason, you're on the fence, or you've been on the fence. And I think that it's because you have some unfinished business that you have to take care of. There are things that you have to wrap up and resolve within yourself before you can move forward. And so then, once you do that, once you solve all this, the things that have been worrying you, you put down your burden, you learn how to compromise, you have a brand new beginning. The Fool is like a new adventure is on the horizon. You're completing something with the world. Something's coming to completion. So that could be, if you've been working on a project at work, it's getting ready to be launched. If you're in a relationship, everything is coming together. And it could be a lot of areas are starting to work out. Once you let go of the worries and put down the burdens and overcome your fears and deal with these unconscious energies that have been running your life behind the scenes, the world is there for you, and you can just claim it. So let's see what the astrology has to say for Aries. So you've got this new moon in the 8th house, and it fits kind of what's going on because the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's the house of confronting your demons. And, you know, what's been holding me back? Why am I not getting support that I feel I need from others? Is there something I need to confront within myself? It's in Scorpio. Scorpio goes deep. You have to go deep with Scorpio. So you have this beginning, you have this chance to go deep within yourself and confront those demons. That's perfect for this new moon. Plus you have Neptune and Pisces in the 12th house. Neptune is at home in the 12th house. And Neptune represents the unconscious. It's the non-physical. It's, you know, the 12th house is also the house of hidden enemies, the house of spirituality, the house of hospitals, institutions. But I find a lot of times it's, I mean, yeah, you could have hidden enemies, but I think a lot of times it's where we self-sabotage. And so you have an opportunity, and Pluto is in your 10th house, and it's sextile the moon. So Pluto's bringing you power. You can step into your power in November. Pluto can also change your status. Some of you might find someone that you want to commit to, and you may decide to commit in a relationship. Or if you're not in a relationship and you're not ready for commitment, it could be a very powerful time for your career. You could come into a position of power. But I think you're also going to be dealing with some things from your unconscious. You have to tie up loose ends in the 12th house. You have to release your baggage. You have to see it and release it. But you have support, because Neptune's trining the moon and the sun, the new moon, and Pluto is sextiling the new moon. And Uranus is going to be moving back into Aries at the 29th degree. So this is, you know, Uranus has been in Aries for the past 7 years. It moved a little bit into Taurus. It's going back for the final round. So it's time to finish up Aries. So, and free yourself. It's time for you to be free. Uranus wants to free you. And it's what is it doing? It's opposing Venus. So what's been holding you back from love? What's been holding you back from financial success? What is it that you have to confront so that you can have more love, that you can be open to receiving love? And you could be open to receiving the money, you know, that comes with that. Because love and money are tied up. It's about receiving, giving and receiving. So if you have a block with giving and receiving, you're going to find that money doesn't flow easily to you. It's when you can release those blocks to love and release those blocks to giving, that all of a sudden that opens up your financial situation as well. And Uranus and Jupiter are squaring each other. They're at 29 degrees. Jupiter's at 29 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house, and Uranus is at 29 degrees Aries, which is in your 1st house. So you're definitely dealing with 8th house issues in the month of November. And Jupiter, now when Jupiter goes into the 8th house, that's the house of money from other people. So you could get support from other people, but you're going to have to go deep, and you're going to have to, if you're not getting the support you need, there is some psychological block that you have to deal with to free yourself, to open up. Okay, so then we have the full moon in Gemini. That's on the 23rd of November. That's right around Thanksgiving. It's going to be a interesting weekend because this full moon is activating your 3rd and 9th houses. So the moon's in the 3rd, the sun's in the 9th. This can bring some type of project. If you're working on a project that involves the media, the internet, marketing, it could be coming to completion at this time. But it's forming a T-square to Mars. Mars is squaring this full moon. And it's squaring it from your 12th house. Again, again, it's bringing up the 12th house issues. So with Mars in the 12th house, you could have you could have repressed anger. You're not dealing with your anger in the process. So if you're not expressing your anger in a healthy way, what does that mean? It means depression. When you repress your anger, you feel defeated, you feel depressed, you can't. So you have to fire up that passion, but in a healthy way. You have to release anger in a healthy way. So if there's anything that you feel resentful about, you need to communicate about it. You need to talk about it. Jupiter is also in the 9th. It'll be by the end of the, it's in the 8th house, and then at the full moon it'll be in your 9th house. It'll just be moving into the 9th house in Sagittarius, because it's 3 degrees. That's going to open you up to all kinds of opportunities, because Jupiter's at home. Not only do you have Jupiter in its home sign, Sagittarius, it's also in its home house. So Jupiter's going to be really strong for you in November. It's the planet of opportunity and luck. It's the planet of belief, like belief that you can do something. So you're going to be feeling like expanding your horizons, because the 9th house is about education, foreign cultures, exploring other cultures. It's about communicating on a global level. You might be working on a project that's reaching people around the world. It's huge. It's a major. There could be some type of training involved. You have to learn some new skills. And if it's a relationship, you could be attracted to someone who's from a different country than you, or a different culture. There could be some type of romance in that way. Or even if the person is not of a different culture, this person is going to open your mind to new thoughts and new beliefs that you didn't even know were possible. That they're just going to broaden your awareness. So you may find yourself experimenting or experiencing a lot of new things. It's going to bring a breath of fresh air to your life. So Aries, my advice to you is really don't be afraid to look within. Don't be afraid to solve, to face whatever's been holding you back. If you need to get counseling, if you need to talk to someone, take time out to meditate, to find out what your needs really are, what's holding you back, what your fears are. Give up any bad habits or destructive things that are standing in the way of your success. And you can have a new beginning with someone that you can someone really special, something really special. You could move mountains in November. You could have a breath of fresh air. And if your life has been stagnating, November could be the trigger, especially when Jupiter moves into Sag, for you to have a brand new start. So I hope this reading was a help to you. And if you live in the Northern Hemisphere in the United States, happy Thanksgiving. And anyone celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States. And otherwise, enjoy the month of November. Don't be afraid to start something new. Don't be afraid to confront your demons in November, whatever's holding you back. Make that decision, take that new start, move into something, move into your power in November. So I hope this reading was a help to you. If you'd like a private reading, just look at the description box and you'll have a link that goes to my website. And I wish you much luck, much love, and much success. And I'll talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.